Welcome and happy Thursday. I am Deana Thornton, the Director of Commerce Marketing here at Mailchimp. We are super excited that you are taking the time to join us today. We have some really great tips to help you to execute a successful promotional strategy. Before I jump in, I want to give a brief background about want to provide info about my background. I have over a decade of experience in e-commerce, working for big box retailers such as the Home Depot, as well as Saks Fifth Avenue. And I'm very honored to have the opportunity to join Mailchimp and be a part of their mission to empower millions of small business owners across the world, providing you with the tools and tips that you need to really be successful and build a profitable business. As we look at the current state of the world, we're all adjusting and still adjusting to the new normal, and as well as stay-at-home orders. And with that adjustment to stay-at-home orders, e-commerce has become a more critical part of your operational model, especially if you are in the retail sector. We're seeing many small business owners getting online for the very first time, as well as strong increase in revenue for those that have already had an e-commerce channel of business before the quarantine. In fact, when we look at Mailchimp's users, our users with the store have experienced a 35% increase in revenue since the beginning of quarantine. So e-commerce is definitely a very, very booming channel with strong increases in revenue. But with that strong increase in revenue, it's also becoming a very crowded marketplace. So many might ask and have asked, how do I really stand out from the crowd and really win within this space? And one way in which you can do that is through the execution of an effective promotional strategy. Before we jump into the first tip, I do want to invite two of our really great agency partners that will be joining us today who are also experts within this space. We have Justin McLeod and Vicky Smith. Welcome, Justin and Vicky.
Hey, how's it going?
How you guys doing? Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time today. Before we jump in, could you give a brief background about your companies that you own as well as where you're based?
Sure. So, hey everybody, my name is Justin McLeod. I'm the founder of Surthrive. We are a marketing agency that specializes in communications, and we create strategies, campaigns, and content for forward-thinking brands. So we're based in Atlanta, and I'm excited, today to share some awesome promotional tips with you.
Awesome. And Vicky?
Yeah, so I'm Vicky Smith and I am Flick Email. I help small businesses grow with email marketing, and so I'm based in Buckinghamshire in the UK.
Awesome. Thank you. So we're ready to jump into our first tip. First tip is solidify your goals. So with any strategy that you're developing, you really want to solidify what your goal is. So within the e-commerce space, you might have the goal of driving traffic to your site, or you have a specific revenue growth target that you want to reach, or you might be looking to get rid of excess inventory. You really want to solidify what your goal is before you get into your strategy, because that goal is really going to dictate what SKUs you're including in your promotion, what your promotional discount will be, as well as the channels that you will utilize to reach your target audience. Justin, I know you had some additional thoughts about this particular tip, so definitely want to hear your thoughts on this one as well.
Definitely. Whenever you're creating your goals, you want to make sure that they're smart. So smart meaning they're specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relevant, and they're time-based. So time-based, basically, you want to make sure that your promotion has a deadline and has a limited amount of winners. So this basically creates more hype around your promotion, and it creates more, more sense of urgency for people to participate.
Yes, definitely. So once you have solidified your goals, this brings us to our next tip with regards to developing your overall promotional strategy. And when you're developing your promotional strategy, it's very important that you keep things simple. Justin, I know that you definitely stress this with your clients at Surthrive, so definitely want to hear the advice that you provide to your clients.
Yeah, so once you identify, your goal, you want to make sure that the messaging is very simple, easy to understand, and you have a clear call to action. So you are going to run your promotion on various channels, whether that's email or social media, but you want to make sure that your messaging is consistent and is very clean. So no need for too many paragraphs or long paragraphs. Instead, make sure that your messaging gets straight to the point. It delivers the value that you're looking to give. And like I said, how can they participate in that promotion? And then basically that will allow them to participate and join in and get what you want out of your potential customers.
Yes, definitely. I definitely agree with your perspective 100%. And when we talk about keeping things simple, it's not just about keeping the promotion simple, but you also want to streamline and keep your experience simple as well. When people come to your site when you're running a promotional offer, you don't want it to be kind of like a scavenger hunt where they're on there and trying to find what items that you have on sale. Is what we would recommend is developing a landing page on your website that houses all the promotional items that you have on sale. Not to say that you can't include other items as a cross-sell, upsell opportunity, but you really want to streamline that path to conversion and making sure that you are providing your customers with a streamlined landing experience. So with this landing page, you're able to drive traffic from both on-site banners as well as external traffic sources to this centralized landing page in order for you to have a very streamlined path to conversion. And that is a way for you to increase your conversion rates as well. Vicky, did you have something to share with this one as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I completely agree with everything that's been said. And like I said, with the landing pages, if you're driving people to a website, they can get distracted by a blog or another offer or product. So landing page is really effective. And just going back to what Justin said about having keeping your content and your paragraphs quite short, it's also worth maybe thinking about the images and keeping those relevant and not going too many images, just keeping it relevant to the content that you've got there. But yeah, absolutely, I agree with everything you've said.
Yes, definitely. So now you have your goal in mind, you have what your promotional strategy will be, an idea of what that experience. So now you're ready to really determine what are the channels that you're utilizing in order to reach your target audience. So that brings us to our third tip, which is implementing multi-channel campaigns. Vicky, I know with Flick Email, you definitely executed tons of multi-channel campaigns, so definitely want to hear your expertise.
Yeah, so when we talk about multi-channel campaigns, what we're referring to is spreading your efforts over a combination of channels. So not just email, but using social posts, digital ads, and then even like print, so postcards, and the landing pages we were talking about. And by doing this, you're reaching a wider audience and really reinforcing your messaging. So I always share with my clients the stat that multi-channel campaigns outperform one-channel campaigns by 300%, which is massive. So it's really worth putting your efforts over all the channels. And I know it sounds a bit counter to what we were saying. We're saying keep things simple, but run it on lots of channels. But actually, when you're using a platform like Mailchimp, you can keep all your content and your channels in one place, so you can see how everything's working together, and you can start to have all of your audience data coming into one place, which then you can use for personalization and segmenting.
Yes, thanks. Definitely agree with you. And I think that now more than ever, we're in such a very super connected world where we're engaging with so much content on a daily basis. You're checking your Instagram, you're on Google searching for things, you're looking at several different websites. So it's very important as a retailer that you are tapping into these multi-channel campaign strategies in order to reach your customer across multiple channels at the right time, at the right place. So when we look at implementing multi-channel campaigns, it's also important that you really focus on overall segmentation as well, which brings us to our next tip, which is increasing sales using segmentation. So this is also kind of like an extension of, as you're looking at your multi-channel campaigns, how do I then also develop segmented messaging in order to personalize based on customers' past purchase behavior or other attributes about that customer? Vicky, do you have additional thoughts?
Yeah, so as you start to build that customer data, you can start to identify and segment your contacts by behaviours and traits. And segmenting is a really important feature to help you tailor campaigns and make sure your messaging is more meaningful to your audience. So I think we'd all agree that the emails that come into our inbox that we pay the attention to are the ones that kind of align with our values or our hobbies or something we've shown an interest in, a product we've clicked on previously. Mm-hmm. And when you can start to hit that kind of personalization, it really starts to spark action and increase sales. So I've got an example I can share with how I've used segmenting with a client of mine. So it's a UK-based business that makes and sells T-shirts. So we have effectively used one of the pre-built segments in Mailchimp which is the predicted gender. So if we're launching maybe a t-shirt with a particular cut, or recently started going into dresses, so we can use the predicted gender segments to think about who would be most interested in those launches, and who's going to pay the most attention to those. And then the other segment we use quite effectively is the demographics.
Mm-hmm.
So although it's a UK-based business, it's got a big US following. But if we're running a promotion that's maybe free postage and packaging in the UK, if we send that offer out to our whole global audience, you're going to annoy so many people with an offer they can't use. So it's really effective to be able to just target people in a location as well. So that's a really good use of segmenting.
Yes, segmentation is I definitely agree with everything you just said. And segmentation is especially key, especially with your email marketing campaigns as well. I know that when I wake up generally around sometimes 6 a.m. in the morning, I'm already bombarded with so many emails in my inbox. So really, how do you, again, cut through that clutter? And one effective way is through segmentation, where you're able to speak directly to that customer based on, their purchase behavior. Vicky, you mentioned with regards to your client and dresses. So if you know that someone comes to your website and they always purchase, this particular category or this particular brand, it's very important that you speak to them based on that past purchase behavior, because you're more likely to catch their attention and drive increase in overall open rates as well as click-through rates. At Mailchimp, we know that segmentation has definitely resulted in higher performance from an email standpoint. Our customers that are executing segmented campaigns experience a 23% increase in open rates and a 49% increase in overall click-through rates. So segmentation is key, and I can't strive enough or emphasize enough the importance of segmentation, especially now in the current climate. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of halfway through our tips. So I definitely know that there's some additional people that have joined us. Again, I'm Deana Thornton, Director of Commerce Marketing. I'm joined with our Mailchimp agency partners, Justin McLeod and Vicky Smith, and we're providing tips on how to execute effective promotional strategies. So we're going to move on to our fifth tip, which is rewarding top customers with special offers. Justin, I know that you have done a lot of execution of promotions, and this is one particular area where you have a lot of knowledge about.
Definitely. I think people love exclusivity. So if you can offer your current customers early access, a special discount, or new customers just something that's that makes them feel special, that nobody else is getting, that's going to basically build up customer loyalty over time. So for example, if somebody purchases a product from your promotion, then you should reward them. So basically, maybe send out an automated email of 3 similar products that they already purchased, and this allows you to not only just increase your revenue or upsell them, but also allows you to build that relationship over time. And one cool feature that Mailchimp has is basically you can connect your e-commerce store with your mailing list. So once you connect those two things, you can actually see who's your top performing customers and who's spending the most money. So then you can actually run smaller campaigns directed towards these top performing customers.
Definitely. So, and you touched on something before that I want to expand on with regards to providing early access. So another strategy that you can implement is, and that I've seen very effectively utilized by, major retailers, is really providing that early access. So for instance, you could be running your promotion for a 2-week time frame, but it's a good strategy that you can employ is allowing your most loyal customers access to your promotions 2 days earlier before your general customer base. This again touches on the point that you made, Justin, with regards to exclusivity. Like, who doesn't love, something that's exclusive? And that allows you as a retailer to not only optimize your conversion rate amongst that particular sub-segment, but it also builds customer loyalty and increases overall customer lifetime value. So as you're looking at your overall promotion, and we've touched on, solidifying what your goals are, keeping things simple, executing your multi-channel campaigns, as well as developing strategies where you can, potentially reward top customers with your special offers. So as you're driving all that traffic to your site, it brings us to our next tip with regards to turning browsing into purchasing. We know during promotional periods, especially if you are, taking heed of the tips that we provided, you're going to get a lot of traffic to your site and a lot of net new traffic to your site. But we know that when people come to websites, they don't always transact. So what are the ways in which you can really continue to communicate with those people who came to your site? And one very effective way in which you can turn browsing into purchasing, and it's actually one of the top utilized features of our current e-commerce users, is through an abandoned cart email. It's very surprising that actually 70% of people who added items to the cart actually do not transact. So the abandoned cart automation that we offer through Mailchimp allows you to retarget that customer. They've already shown interest, that they're interested in this product, but something stopped them from transacting. So how do you bring them back? And one way in which you can do that is you can set up this automation, which basically it basically sends out an email to that customer, and it's saying, hey, you left something in your cart, or you can also entice them with an additional 10% off that item. So that just brings them back to your website in order to turn that browsing into an actual transaction. Another very effective way in which you can turn browsing into purchasing is through Google retargeting ads. I know that we've all kind of experienced this. So you're on a website, you see an item, and then you leave the website and you're on another site, maybe looking at the news or reading the latest things that's going on with regards to entertainment. And you're on that website and you see that same item that you viewed on the website to your right. I know that it sounds really creepy. Some people are like, oh my gosh, like the web is kind of like spying on me, but it's actually a very, very effective strategy, because generally a customer has to see an item multiple times before they transact. So being able to execute Google retargeting ads allows you to really retarget that customer based on what their browsing behavior was on your website, bring them back, and again, turn that browsing into a transaction. As we move to the next tip is really using automations to increase conversion. I touched on abandoned cart, which is also a automation, but there's also very effective automations that can be executed. And I want to stop and actually explain what an automation is for those that are like, what is that? So an automation is really a very simple way in which you are able to set up certain triggers based on a behavior or lack thereof. And hot off the press, Mailchimp, we just actually launched our enhanced customer journey builder this week. And it allows you to really visualize your customer journey and how they engage with your brand, and set up certain triggers based on their navigational behavior as well as their purchase behavior. So additional automations that you can set up that will be very effective, especially running a promotion, are product recommendations. So product recommendations are basically a block that you can include in your email in order for you to cross-sell and upsell items. It's a very effective way for you to include your promotions in those product recommendations in order for you to drive visibility of the items that you have on promotion, as well as being able to drive increase in overall AOV. Another automation that we would recommend utilizing during your promotional period is the welcome automation. So with the welcome automation, you're able to utilize this as a way to increase your overall email list size, but you're also able to, again, drive visibility when you're having a promotional period. And sometimes when you're executing promotions, it might be promotions that you're executing that are actually a strike through of a particular product, or a global offer, which would be like 10% off site-wide. So welcome emails is really a way for you to welcome that new customer and provide visibility of your promotion. And I know that we're talking about promotions, but I also want to touch on the fact that welcome automations are also a great way for you to drive visibility about your brand. I think that right now, more than ever, especially in the pandemic, people are becoming even more cautious about where they're spending their dollars, and they really want to develop a relationship with the brands that they are, buying products from. So your welcome email is also an opportunity for you to tell a little bit about your background, who you are, and why you're passionate about the products that you're selling. I want to now turn this over to the partners to also provide input on this particular tip.
Yeah, so I'm a massive fan of automation. They give small businesses in particular such headspace to set them up, and then they can be running and you can focus on other tasks. And I think, going on from what you said, once people start to utilize those particular automations, so the abandoned cart and the welcome email, you can start to build them out into workflows and series and really gain more traction. I recently learned that an automated series can lead to 24% increase on the single automations, which already have great open rates and click rates. So that's fantastic. I kind of recommend and look at the life cycle and the journey of your customer and your products. So, for example, I work with a beauty salon, and some of the products there, so like shampoos, conditioners, tanning lotions, they're expected to last 3 to 6 months. So we looked at automating, so not just the welcome email and the purchase, the transactional emails, but also then kind of touching base a little while later to say, how are you getting on? Do you want to give us a review? Can we help with anything? And then nearer to that 3 to 6 months, when the product should be coming to an end, kind of reminding them, hey, you can reorder, maybe even reorder with an offer, or recommending another product that might complement what they're already using. Automations are just, you can do that all with automations, and it's so effective.
Yeah, and I think that the great thing about automations is you're able to set them up, but then it's running in the background. So you still should track and kind of measure the overall effectiveness, but it's something that you're able to just set up and have it run so you can focus on other areas of your business. So we're moving on to our last tip, which is keep new customers engaged with your brand. So when you're looking at promotions, and I'm sure if you're following these tips, you're more than likely to, reach your goals, but it shouldn't stop there, because during your promotional period, you should be capturing and gaining a lot of net new customers. So you want to make sure that you're continuing to engage with those customers. And one effective way in which you can do so is by utilizing a customer relationship management tool like the one that Mailchimp provides. And a customer relationship management tool allows you to really organize those new customers and tag them based on what did they purchase during your promotional period. Again, in order for you to roll them into your go forward marketing campaign strategies and making sure that you're really personalizing your messaging based on what they purchase, how they're engaging with your brand, in order for you to optimize overall performance. Justin, I know that you have some thoughts on this one as well.
Definitely. So, the main objective for a successful promotional strategy is to get as many new customers as possible in a short period of time. So, even if it's, you're running your promotion and you get new followers, new likes, the golden thing is like, if you can get that email address, you can basically build up that email list, build up your email database, and you can engage these individuals over time, whether that's a newsletter, creating content, more smart promotional campaigns. This allows you to, engage these people and turn them into, reoccurring customers, and also, have them become advocates of your brand. So not only that they're buying more product, you're getting more revenue, but they're also going to be telling their friends about you. So the goal for the promotional campaign, of course, is going to be short, maybe 30, 60 days or whatever it is, but you want to make sure that you get as many email addresses as possible. So if they don't buy anything, if you can get that email address, that's the next thing to a win in a promotional campaign.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for your thoughts. So that wraps up our tips for today. I really want to thank Vicky and Justin. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this conversation and really, share your expertise. Before we go, I definitely want to give you the opportunity for any closing remarks and also to provide your information for where people can contact you.
Awesome. So you all can follow, Surthrive Labs on social media platforms, but we have actually like a 6-step promotional guide. So we're giving that away for you all for free today. So if you just go to the link, I think it's in the event page, and just promotional code Mailchimp, and you'll get a free guide to just kind of break down what we talked about today. So that's at surthrive.co/Mailchimp promo. Thank you all.
Awesome.
Yeah, fab. And so it's flickemail.com, and you can contact me through there, and my socials all on there. But also the kind of the services I offer, one of which is an e-commerce kind of package and kind of helping people set up the automations that we've been speaking about and getting those into place and helping people run those.
Awesome. Thank you. So thank you again for joining us. And thank you, everyone, for taking the time to be a part of this event. We really hope that these tips are very useful for you. We will be disseminating this, this video across several of our social media platforms. So it will be available through LinkedIn, of course, Facebook, as well as YouTube. And again, if you do need, further assistance with developing your promotional strategies, or just need help in general with your e-commerce marketing, please feel free to reach out to Justin and Vicky. We also have a very extensive directory of agency partners available on Mailchimp.com. So again, we really hope that this was useful. Very appreciative for you for joining us. Again, I'm Deana Thornton, the Director of Commerce Marketing at Mailchimp. Hope to see you again soon. Happy selling. Bye.
Bye.